Hello and welcome to the Imagine Crafts YouTube channel. Katie here, and today I've got a couple fall inspired cards for you. They look very similar, but there is one difference in one of the cards, and I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes. The products I'm going to use in today's video is the VersaFine Clair Inks in Cheerful and Glamorous. Also going to pull in Chianti later on. I've got the Sheer Shimmer Spritz in Gold, and then I've got some hot press watercolor paper. This is 100% cotton from Strathmore. And the stencil I'm going to use is the Altenew Leaf Burst stencil, and then I've got the stamp and die set that I'll be using from Concord and Ninth. This is the Lace Leaf stamp and die set. Now I've sped this video up, this part, the ink blending up 3 times, so it's going to go quick, but I wanted to keep all of it in so that I could show you how these two colors come together and create the most beautiful burnt orange color. Okay, so I started in the corner of the panel. This panel measures 5 by 7. I'm bringing the Cheerful all the way down. I will be trimming the panel down with some layering dies from Gina Marie later on in the video. So I'm taking a blending brush and I'm trying to keep the one corner with some deep concentration of that Cheerful and then blending it out down to the bottom, and then I flip the panel and coming at the other corner with that Glamorous. And as I add ink to my blending brush, I come into that same corner because I want a nice deep concentration of that Glamorous down in that corner, and then I want it to kind of fade out towards the top of that opposite corner that we started the darker, deeper color of Cheerful in. Now, I talk about this in every ink blending video that I do. Ink blending is for everyone. Anybody can do it, even beginners. It just takes a little time and practice, that's all. There's certain things that you can use that can make it a little bit easier, and I like to tell people about them. The first thing is this hot press watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton, which I found is the better. They do have hot press watercolor paper that's like student grade, but I found the 100% cotton to be the best. The Strathmore is very affordable, and I'm going to link that up for you down below so that you can go check it out. But you can ink blend with any ink on hot press watercolor paper. You don't need a specialty ink, you don't need a specialty paper. This and paper and any ink will work beautifully. Now I know it looks a little splotchy, but hot press watercolor paper is quite forgiving when it comes to coming direct to paper, because it really does work well. As long as you apply good pressure and you keep working it, it will blend out. Now the panel on the right there I just did, so it's still kind of wet. These are pigment inks in this case, so it's going to take a few minutes for those to dry anyway, but I wanted to do technique. So this first one, I'm taking that Sheer Shimmer Spritz in Gold and spritzing it over that stencil. I let it dry a couple of minutes, and then I took the stencil off and I've got the panel drying. I wiped the stencil off, and now I'm coming in with the plain panel that I did off camera to add that stencil because I really wanted to see what the Chianti would look like on this color combination. And I love it. But here's the gold panel. It's really light, it's really subtle, you can't really tell. You can tell there's something on there, but not exactly what, right? So I decided to just take that stencil, put it back over top of that spritz, and come in with that Chianti again. Now it did 2 things. One, I didn't line the stencil up, so we got a little offsetting, but it lightened up that Chianti a little bit, and it also gives a nice underlay and offset of the shimmer. And I'm going to freeze the frame here a little bit so you can see it, because the shimmer is really hard to pick up on camera, in video and photos, but I really like the subtle detail of that. Now I used that tribal layering die set, the rectangles from Gina Marie, and used the second one down from the A2 size, because I wanted to create a text background with that Concord and Ninth leaf stamp set. And it reads, "Cool and crisp, greet and gather, acorns and apples, bonfires and blankets, pumpkins and pine cones." But I love text backgrounds, so I wanted to create my own. Now I used some white layering paper for that panel that I just showed you, but I end up doing it in ivory off camera. I liked it a little bit better. It was a little bit softer. Now the Grateful die, I die cut 3 times as you just saw, and I glued those together. Now I'm using the Waffle Flower Oversized Hug stamp set to take that for you, because I'm going to put Grateful for you as our sentiment. And I'm stamping that for you in Chianti. And then I'm showing you here how I create my sentiment strips. I like the Fiskars trimmers that come with the wire guide. It allows you to create any width sentiment strip because you can line everything up perfectly with that wire guide. There's one thing I don't like, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. But when I create my sentiment strips, I like to layer them up with the additional cardstock so that I don't have to use any foam tape or any foam, period. This gives good solid dimension and keeps everything nice and firm. So this is 3 layers deep, just like our Grateful die cut set is done, so that everything is flush with each other. Now this is the Thanks die from Honeybee Stamps. It's the large Thanks, and I took the larger tribal frame from the Gina Marie Designs die set and cut that other panel out. Here's our comparison of our ivory and white. So white on the left, ivory on the right there. I've got one more stamp set that I'm going to use. This is from the Greetery. It's the Sentiment Sweets Thank You. And I just needed the So Much from the Thanks So Much stamp that's included in there. And stamp that in Chianti a couple of times. Now here's what I don't like. I don't like that jagged edge that's on there. So I just do my strip, take my bone folder, and burnish that back down. And it's absolutely perfectly smooth. So if you have any cardstock, you have this type of trimmer that cuts like this, and you have the jagged edge, just take your bone folder and burnish it back down. Doesn't matter what type of paper you're using or cardstock. If you get that jagged edge, just burnish it back down. So now we're just going to assemble, my friends. We've got our A2 layering panel. I've got the Thanks that we're going to adhere down. We're using On Point glue to adhere everything down. And I've got our sentiment strip that says So Much. So we've got Thanks So Much for one card, and those are die cut 4 times, and then the sentiment strip is layered up 4 times as well. Then I've got our Grateful for You card. That is an A2 size as well, using some Gina K's Dark Chocolate. We've got our ivory text panel, and then we've got our tribal die cut panel, ink blended panel that we're going to put on the front and center that up. We've got our Grateful that's die cut 3 times, and then we're going to include our For You sentiment strip that's going to go right below that. And that is also layered up 3 times, like I said before, to keep everything nice and smooth. So here I'm going to come up close and show you a little bit more of that shimmer that's underneath that stenciling. And that's going to finish it up, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell and select all notifications. That way you'll be notified each time a video has been uploaded. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.